Hello and welcome to part 3 of my illustration development video series. In the previous video, I started with my Drawloween drawing. This is the original here. And I retooled it and redrew it in Adobe Fresco and inked it up. And this was the new image that I ended up with. Pretty happy with it. I think it's a little more dynamic and a little more of a ready piece. At the end of the last video, I also came up with 4 color options, and I was soliciting some opinions on which ones were the more popular ones. I was surprised people didn't go for the green skin, so number 2 was the one that got the most positive feedback, and so that's what I used for coloring the finished art. So I put a little reference in the corner, and I used Fresco to flat in the major color areas and block in all the major shapes. And this is a little time lapse of the coloring process. I've been really enjoying using the lasso to flatten the pieces, and then I'll add a second layer while I'll wash in some more textured brushes just to give it some shadows and highlights. I also had some fun using a little bit of a green brush to add some rim lights, and overall just kind of dress the piece up. So I was pretty happy with this finished art, but I thought it maybe needed a little bit more to it. So I did a little trick where I started in Adobe Illustrator and I created some cloud shapes, and I saved those into my Adobe Creative Cloud library. And after I saved them to the library, I actually had to process them through Adobe Capture to get them in the right format. But after I processed them, I got them into my iPad and was able to integrate them into the Fresco environment. So in Fresco, they have a tool called Shapes. So there's a few default shapes, but I've built up a library of some custom shapes that I created myself. And after using the Shapes tool, I was able to rubber stamp in and add some cloud shapes. So it was pretty easy to drop those in. And similarly, using my my star shape stamp, I added some stars in the night sky. I did a little trial and error with a couple scatter brushes, but ultimately I just found it was easier to stamp them in. I did find a nice brush for doing a little bit of magic sparkles. Played around with the layer color intensity in the background, and in the end ended up with a pretty nice illustration. So now that I've got the finished art, I'm able to separate out the character, the shadows, the moon and the bats, even the color flats. And now I've got a lot of different options for how I can implement this in some finished merchandise using my illustration. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. Please like and subscribe, and maybe consider becoming a Patreon so I can keep making more videos like this. Thanks again. Bye now.